Okay, guys, welcome back to another video. And I know from the last video that I recorded to now, like, so much stuff has happened. So I didn't record a video last week just because I needed some time to do a break from content. Life was lifing, work was working, the brain was getting burnt out with the content, and I needed to put some space in between to let everything simmer and stuff. And boy, when I tell you, when I let everything simmer and took a break from recording, the most craziest thing happened. Oh, that was a lot to ramble about, but just 'cause I'm so excited for this video, and I got a little special something later on during the video too that's gonna be super cool, and I hope it comes out correct because like I'm just super excited. So announcement updates. I'm gonna be going to D23 in August. All right. And for the ones who don't know about D23, that is going to be Disney's biggest convention that happens every 2 years down in Anaheim, California at the convention center. They split it between 3 days, and there's stuff that happens at the Honda Center and at the Anaheim Convention Center. So now that's where that's where they talk about all the new stuff that's coming to the parks, new stuff that's coming to the hotels, new hotels being built, new rides being built across Disney World and Disneyland. Sometimes they announce some stuff that's coming to the other parks out the country, but for the most part, I could be wrong, but for the most part, from the one that I watched last year, they name drop a little bit of stuff that's coming to the parks out the country, especially for new rides and attractions. But primarily, it's going to be stuff that's coming to like Anaheim and Disney World. Now, from the last time we talked about D23, just as a company as a whole, they announced Pixar Piston Peak for hold on. They announced the Piston Peak, which is our version at Disney World, version of Cars Land that they have in Disneyland. Now, I know that one's a lot cooler because they have the whole entire walkway and all that jazz, but it's still super cool that we're going to get one ourselves. You know, it's not going to be exactly the one like out there because how could it? That's just the iconic one. But what we're going to get is our own different version of that ride, and it's going to be like an off-roading attraction, which is super, super cool, and I'm super excited for that. And then we're also going to get Villains Land, which is something that we've been speculating for a very long time that we were going to hopefully get in one of the Disney parks, which is cool that finally last year that they announced it for us to get Villains Land in Magic Kingdom instead of any of the other parks, you know, because Magic Kingdom is cool and all, it's great, but there's definitely room for us to have a whole Kingdom Hearts, you know, origin story with the parks where we have, you know, the good side and then we have the villain side in the back of the park. So I'm super stoked for that. And I'm so glad that this is coming underneath Josh D'Amaro's first year, first term, or whatever you guys want to call it, of being CEO for the company, because this is going to be his first project. So I'm glad that he is taking the time to like scrap the original ideas that they had for Villains Land and is going back to the drawing board with the Imagineers to give us like something great. So I hope, and I know the rest of you guys out there who are old OG like Disneyers for like the early best parts of Disney, that we get an Yzma and Kronk's pull the lever attraction. Like, we need it. That ride is too iconic. That scene is too iconic for us to not have that, and especially with doing villains. Like, come on, that's the perfect. Yzma's the perfect evil villain to make an attraction off of. Outside of Maleficent as well, which I know we're gonna get a Maleficent attraction. I hope that one is like a really fast coaster. Like it needs to be like a roller coaster, kind of like a Big Thunder Mountain, but mixed with like Tron, if you will, with like how fast and like just thrilling the attraction is. I think that'd be really cool. And then trying to see what else they announced. Obviously, there's going to have some new updates to Avenger Campus out in Disneyland. And then we're having Monstropolis in Hollywood Studios, which is so freaking cool. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I know for the longest time, have mentioned having a roller coaster that, you know, emulated the Doors from Monsters Inc. And the fact that we're finally going to get one, it's going to be the first like elevated roller coaster ever on across the Disney property. And I mean, honestly, probably ever in just roller coaster history. I know we have a lot of rides that start with you like this and clamp you up like that, but we've never had an attraction that fully starts on the ground and works us all the way up and then shoots you off. And if we do, correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen one be done yet, and I'm glad that Disney is going to be the first ones to do it. So those are not all the updates, but those are the few updates from last year. It's D23 that's coming to Magic Kingdom, and I know we're getting a Coco attraction and stuff out in Disneyland, but my predictions for the new ride updates for Disney World, even though we're still waiting for the new ones from the last D23 to get built, construction's coming a very long way. I pray that they give us an updated Tomorrowland. Okay, now hear me out. Hear me out for this one because my friend didn't quite see the vision on this one, so I'm hoping that like the rest of you guys do. I love Tomorrowland so much. Tomorrowland is my favorite part of Magic Kingdom. I think it's super cool. I think they really could do a whole lot more than what they're doing with Tomorrowland and Magic Kingdom. And I think that since we had to get rid of Toontown, we had to go through the sacrifices of them taking Toontown away from us to put Storybook Circus there. We're not going to get started on that ramble. I think that if they're going to update anything in Magic Kingdom outside of Piston Peak and A Villain's Land, I think that they should redo Tomorrowland. I really think they should update it. I think they should take down Storybook Circus, scrap it. I know the Dumbo ride is really cool and stuff like that, but we have the flying carpets for Aladdin, and Dumbo will still always forever be like just like that heartwarming original character for Disney. I feel like the representation for Dumbo is good with like the plushies and everything like that. We can go without it. That's just me. I feel like we can go without it, and they should scrap it all. They should expand Tomorrowland, build us a new coaster, expand the People Mover, and really hone in on what Walt was talking about when he talks about like the future, the future land of tomorrow, and just like the advancements of technology. I feel like if they really wanted to go with that story, they could expand the park back over there. Give us an updated Tomorrowland Speedway, update the cars a little bit. They have the F1 partnership that they've been doing for, I think, a year. Maybe this is like year 2 that they've been doing the F1 stuff. Give us an updated Tomorrowland. Give us an updated Tomorrowland Speedway. Give us some new cars. Take the little line out the middle of the tracks so we can actually have like some goat kart simulating going on. Give us new cars. Let's move away from the gas and like let's just go full electric, because the electric goat karts can go pretty fast. Now, obviously, when with Disney, it's going to be it's going to be kids and family friendly, so they're not going to give us K1 type of go karts, but at least give us something updated. That way we can continue to be eco friendly, continue to have that carbon footprint, and also feed into the partnerships that we have with the company, and like just give us like an updated Tomorrowland and really play in the futuristics of it all. Now, I know the company would never do this, but for me, I think Meet the Robinsons should have more of a representation in the park. So if they were to build a whole new land in Tomorrowland and take away Storybook Circus and all that stuff, I think that would be awesome if they did a Meet the Robinsons land, like Zootopia in, I think it's Tokyo. I don't know if it's Tokyo Seas or one of the parks that has the Zootopia land, but let's do that same idea, but for Meet the Robinsons, and bring it here. I think when it comes to like all the original movies that we have that talk about like the tomorrow and like the future and advancements and technology and stuff like that, Meet the Robinsons is such a great story that does not get represented enough. I grew up with that movie. It's still a great movie to this day. I still watch it all the time. I think the new kids would appreciate that. They would appreciate if it was done in the right way to bring us Meet the Robinsons. But that's just me. I got so many more ideas, but we're gonna segue into D23 stuff and what I'm excited about. Because also with me going to D23 for the very first time, I'm also going with my bestie. He lives out in California. He's doing his thing with the Disney content. He's gone to a whole bunch of premieres already underneath his gate. He's the male version of a cheetah girl, and he's just really something special. And I'm so excited that I get to spend my first D23 and going to Disneyland for my first time with my best friend. And my parents are coming with too. So this is all going to be like a full circle moment, but I'm going to try to call him and see if this works. I'm hoping that the microphone will pick up the audio through FaceTime to see if he can pick up the phone. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, he might not pick up. I don't know. Okay. Well, he might be busy. Oh, he said he'll call me back. Okay, so we're gonna segue into that stuff. So I've never been to Disneyland before. I grew up a Disney World kid, hence the Spirit jersey or the baseball jersey. But I've always wanted to go to Disneyland. I just never had the time. Well, I've had the time, just never found like the time to go to Disneyland over Disney World, especially with all the new stuff that comes to Disney World over Disneyland. And I'm really looking forward to it. I get to walk down the footsteps of where Walt actually walked. I get to see the first ever park that was ever built, and just to feel like how everyone felt when Disneyland was first opened. Walt never walked in Disney World when it was open, but he built that whole entire park, Disneyland. That was his baby. That was his child. He built that whole entire first park. So it's going to be really cool to see the original castle, even though it's smaller than Disney World's. Find me a little park bench and everything, and just take it all in. So I don't have a whole lot to say about that because I've never been to Disneyland, and I'm just letting all the emotion stir up for when I go for the very first time. And we're going to vlog the whole entire thing along with D23. I have so many other friends coming there and stuff as well. And it's just going to be a very action-packed weekend. So that's really what I wanted to give you guys an update on, because I know I didn't record last week, and this week is going to be all D23 stuff. I am I'm super excited. I'm going to be recording another video on TikTok about what I'm looking forward to for park advancements, what I'm looking forward to for like rides and stuff that's coming out, hotels. We got some new hotels coming to the property. I will personally never forgive the fact that we did not get Cherry Tree Lane for Mary Poppins. That's another thing I feel like just needs representation as a company. I mean, come on now. Walt was still alive when he made that movie. That was a big pivotal moment for the company for animation wise, where you had a live action and animation in the same exact film. Julie Andrews almost died making that movie too, which not a lot of people talk about. And she's the greatest. And I feel like for Disney in Epcot, it's the perfect layout for Cherry Tree Lane. And the fact that two D23 conventions ago, we got that announcement. And once COVID happened, they just scrapped the whole entire thing and then gave us other stuff in Epcot that we necessarily did not need. I hope, I pray like Josh tomorrow, just revisit some of those Epcot ideas that we talked about a couple D23s ago and bring them back to life for Epcot, because for Epcot to be the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, and how it's supposed to be a whole entire neighborhood of advancements and a living community, and the fact that obviously it was thought of way before Walt's time, way before any technological advancements times for a community. The fact that we have the technology and the stuff to be able to do that now, Disney's not going to build a whole entire neighborhood exactly like that. I wish they would. But like, we can still use Epcot to emulate that in like the best way possible. Give us like more technological advancement rides outside of Guardians. Give us updated countries and better experiences in the countries, and like more inviting situations and more inviting, experiences like for each country. I know the countries are designed and they're built very nice. That makes you feel like you're taken like to that country. And I love that each country has coworkers or who has workers who are from those countries working in them. So it really just feeds into the whole entire narrative that they're playing with Epcot. But it's like, we have such a small part of the front of the park that's actually designed and given technological advancements, where I feel like it could be a lot better than what they have given us. We were supposed to have the little swirly thing that was supposed to be right in the middle, and we had like the whole entire grass overlay on top. I don't know what the name of it's called. That was supposed to look off at the rest of the park. And instead we got the Walt statue, which is great. We love Walt. But I feel like that was just like a little bit of an underplaying, because they didn't want to continue giving us what they were supposed to give us with the original designs for what Epcot was like truly supposed to be. For the park, that's supposed to never be finished, because, it's just all the technological things that Walt had envisioned for Epcot. I feel like we're just underplaying it a lot. So I hope, maybe not this D23, because I just feel like they're not going to talk about Epcot all that much in this D23. I hope the next D23, they just hit Epcot heavy. We got Muppets taking over Rocky Roller Coaster in Hollywood Studios. We have Monsters Inc. Monstropoulos coming there. We have Galaxy's Edge. We have Villains coming to Magic Kingdom. We have Piston Peak coming to Magic Kingdom. We have the Tropical Americas coming to Animal Kingdom. So I feel like those are the parks that are not really going to get a whole lot of updates, where it's like maybe they're going to really, hopefully, that they'll feed into Epcot. Because if you really think about it, where else could they put a whole bunch of stuff in the other parks that we've already talked about before, where Epcot is still going to go without? So fingers crossed that this D23, they give us more updates on Tomorrowland, because they're already talking about giving us a refurb on Space Mountain, and they're already redoing Carousel of Progress. And I don't want to talk about it, because truthfully, Carousel of Progress, I think it was fine just the way it was. I didn't think that we needed a refurb on it. I know that they want to bring Walt into Carousel of Progress and like put that in the front scene, which is great. The front scene where the curtains move up and it has like the Carousel of Progress symbol, that's totally fine to put Walt right there, like in his desk. talking about the Carousel of Progress and talking about just his vision of progress in general. I don't have a problem with that. But everything else after that scene should have stayed the exact same. I know Walt was like based off of everything, you know, eventually can change, but it's like Disneyland still has nodes of Walt Disney and the things that he worked on, and the castle, you know, the Matterhorn and 7,000 Leagues Underneath the Sea. I think that's what it's called. And a whole bunch of other things that like they just did not change. And I feel like in Magic Kingdom, a lot of the stuff that Walt, like he didn't get to do a whole lot because the park started with him walking the perimeter of the park. But then once it really started to get built, he died. So Roy took over and used his ideas and the things that he wanted to like still build that park. And I feel like the Carousel of Progress was like the one thing that like he physically like touched that we had. And to hear about it going away and them redoing it and just adding him into the front scene, it's like, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I'm kind of sad. I don't think it had to change. I think out of all the other changes and advancements that we could have gotten to the other places on property, that was one thing that just wasn't at the top of the importance list. And I know that the animatronics were old and stuff like that, but instead of changing it completely, we could just gave it a refurb, made the animatronics a little bit sharper, updated how they looked, like color wise, like just like, you know, giving them like a nice little polish, you know. But the fact that they're going to redo every single scene and we have no idea about what they're actually going to do, I just hope that they do it justice. So those are my stipulations on D23. I'm super excited to go, and I hope that we get more on Tomorrowland, and I hope that we get more on Epcot, because Tomorrowland and Epcot are the two places around property where it could be a lot more and a lot better than it is. So that's all I have. I'm not going to yap and ramble for the rest of this video, but I appreciate you guys for supporting the channel, and you guys can see more updates on my Instagram, which is I am Christopher Charles, and I'll drop the links down below for my Instagram and my TikTok for more D23 predictions and what I hope to see and more in-depth conversations with some other friends. I'm trying to like get some videos set up between now and August where we can really sit down and like yap about D23. So with all that being said, thank you for watching this video and stay tuned for more. Bye.